What's up, everybody? Welcome to Make Things Tiny. My name is Mick, and today I'm talking to Gail. Gail is the CEO and co-founder of United Tiny Homes, a tiny homes company based out of Arizona. Gail's going to give a little bit of the backstory on their company, talk about why they created the company, talk a little bit about their design, their build process, and then also give advice for those of you in the shopping stage of your tiny house journey where you're still trying to figure out how do I find the right builder, especially with all the information that's out there today. You don't want to miss this video. There's going to be a lot of really useful advice from Gail. So for those of you who are new to the channel, please do take the time to subscribe. There's a subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It helps me out a ton, helps grow the community. And if you tap the notification bell, you find out when I drop new videos. I drop new videos every single week. Before we jump into this conversation, I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor for today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Mac Insurance. Mac Insurance is actually the only company in the United States that offers a comprehensive policy for your tiny house, meaning that the policy is specifically designed for tiny houses and their owners. They provide insurance based off of, regardless of whether or not your tiny house is going to be your primary dwelling, secondary, short-term rental, Airbnb, you name it, they got you covered. So please do take a time to check out their website, check out their social media, reach out to them. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, Mac Insurance. All right, let's jump into this conversation. I'm here today with Gail. Gail is the CEO and co-founder of United Tiny Homes. Gail, thank you so much for being on the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to talk with you. If you don't mind just taking a few minutes to go over your background, what made you decide to start the company, and we'll go from there.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's exciting to be able to be here with you and support everything that's going on. Um, we started United Tiny Homes during COVID. So I had a 30-year background in public speaking and promoting people like Tony Robbins and those people all over the world and event production. And COVID hit and everything stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So moved to Arizona and realized that tiny homes is like there's a need, and I've always loved them.
Yeah.
So my business partner and I, like, we could do this, and we did. So I suddenly had a completely free schedule, created a marketing plan. We before we could even build, we found a builder in California that white labeled for us. And our first weekend in business, we took 17 deposits for
Wow.
homes, and we bootstrapped the business from there, and we're growing like crazy. So
That's
we're celebrating our 3-year anniversary this month.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that that y'all started during COVID. That's really cool. And I see why, like with everything stopping, like you would think like, well, maybe I should create something new. But
Hmm.
it's also really impressive that y'all have grown to the extent that you have over the past 3 years. Like I had the chance to go and look at one of your models when I went to Tiny Fest here in San Diego last month. I think it was the Cheyenne. I was really impressed with like the
Hmm.
overall design, like the exterior, just the layout of the space, because you never really know what it's gonna feel like to actually go inside of a tiny house. But I think you
Right.
guys did like an incredible job with like all of the finishes and stuff like that too. Can
Thank
you
you.
talk a little bit about like what your build process is like how you come up with the different designs you have for the homes?
Well, one of the things for us is that a lot of our homes are ADUs. Not we don't build a lot of travelers. That
Got it.
people are going to take on the road from all the time.
Sure.
Um, there are a lot of ADUs. Their backyard models are going into parks, things like that.
Mhm.
And for me, one of the things that was really important was livability. So we have an in-house designer, and he does an amazing job. But it's all about, okay, if I turn around, is my rear end going to go in the stove if I'm trying
Right.
to do the
Yeah. Yeah.
dishes? And so we really build all of our homes with livability in mind. What's that going to be? What's that going to be like for our end user?
Hmm.
Are they disabled? We make sure that our doorways are all 36 inches. So no matter what the home's being used for, it has a longevity of life for many different uses, right? Um, and we decided, instead of building to what would normally be an ANSI standard, which is an RV standard
Hmm.
for a tiny home, that we would build to residential
Got
standards.
it. Yeah.
So no matter what, our homes are built to last, 50, 60 years.
Hmm. That's really important too, because I
So
do think that that is something that people are really Curious to know like how long do they last? Like I have seen a lot of YouTube
Mhm.
channels and like interviews where people are just like posing that as a question, like, oh, it's great and it looks nice, but will it last more than, 5 years, especially when, they do go down in value, just like a car or something like that. So, but yeah, no, I think that's great that you
Ours are
take the
actually
time.
appreciating.
Yeah,
Yeah, our homes are actually
that's
appreciating,
great.
which is really it's really
Yeah,
great.
I know for some
So,
people they go down in value. When they try to
yeah.
resell them, they can't resell them back that same price that they bought it at, even 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, we do have one person, they bought one of our homes and they just are reselling it right now for 25,000 more than they purchased it for from
Cool.
us.
That's really great. I
Yeah.
do notice that you have like a lot of
Mhm.
like 40 footers in your model, sort of like
Mhm.
which is not something I see in too many different companies. Like, do you feel like there's a greater demand for larger tiny homes?
Well, so one of the things, that we believe in is go
Right.
tiny, live large, right? So, and tiny homes, you need storage, you need a bedroom, you
Hmm.
need
Hmm.
closet space. And because our homes are typically staying in one place for a lot longer, and they're not
Right.
moving all the time. It's someone's home. And so we don't build houses, we build homes. And that's tiny houses go all over. Um, but these are homes. And so when you've got, you want to put your
Hmm.
parents in the backyard. Well, they want to be able to have space. And so one of the things I'm sure you noticed, even in an
Yep.
8.5 that you were in, right? When you walk in, you're like,
Oh yeah,
I
for
could live
sure.
in this, right? Yeah, because it's comfortable. It's like, oh, I fit. I can cook a turkey dinner. I can, there's room for more than two pots and pans and three glasses and a couple
Mhm.
plates. So, um, it's just one of the features that we find that people really, really
Yeah.
love about our
No, I do
homes.
remember that because I remember walking through the kitchen distinctly to get to the bathroom, and then also looking at the bedroom in the back, and just thinking like this is a lot of space, which isn't the case in every
Hmm.
tiny house that you go in. Like I have been in other ones where like it does feel small, like maybe the ceiling height's not that great, or like the kitchen is like you don't have it on both ends, so you don't have the galley style. Maybe you just have like one little set of countertops. The room is kind of like technically you can get up and walk around your bed, but it's going to be tight. You can't really store too much in there. So I do feel like you really have thought, you'll have thought about all the different things that would matter to people, especially storage. I think that's the biggest thing. Like you don't want to, save up money and buy a tiny house and then end up just not feeling like you can actually really live in it or even grow in it because things change.
Yeah. And one of the other things that we do is we kind of give everyone
Hmm.
a blank canvas on the interior. Right? We've got cabinets and stuff, but there's plenty of room. You can put bigger upper cabinets. We can put, storage cabinets next to the bed, depending on how people want to, make it their
Hmm.
own home. There's a lot of things that you can do to add a lot of those extra
Yeah.
little touches.
Do you know which model
Mhm.
is like the best seller or the one that people tend to gravitate towards more?
Well, we have two best-selling floor plans, and one is the Cheyenne that you were in, and that comes in an 8.5 wide or
Okay.
a 10-foot wide. So that one, and it's a downstairs bedroom, no loft, but it's got vaulted ceilings, big galley kitchen, a full size bathroom. Bathroom is
Hmm.
bigger than
It
some
was.
apartments, here in
Yeah, it's a
Arizona.
good sized bathroom.
And um, and then we also have our Denali Extreme, which has a downstairs bedroom and then a really nice size loft over the
Okay.
bathroom that can be a guest sleeping or second bedroom or storage. And those are probably our two best
Okay, that
selling
makes sense. I think the bedroom, like the loft over
floor
the
plans.
bathroom, is a good use of space too. Not everyone would
Yep.
think to do that in designing their floor plan. And I know that you have a. Oh yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and so oh well, it's over the bathroom. So some people wonder like, oh, that makes your
Hmm.
shower
Hmm.
short. But in that particular home, we inset the shower head
Oh,
into
cool.
the ceiling, right? So and you still have a wand on the wall, but you
Hmm.
don't lose the height.
I think those are some of the things that are
So six
smart.
foot
That's
two
just like
man can
smart
still take a
design, right?
shower.
Like just really, you have to think outside
Hmm.
the box to make things like that work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't think to do that. That's pretty cool. I
Hmm.
know that you have like a facility, like not every tiny house company has that. So like you actually have a facility where like you have models. Do you feel like would you advise someone that's interested in buying one of your tiny house to go to your facility and check that out first before, or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. So our factory's open Monday through Thursday, um, Fridays and the weekends
Hmm.
by appointment, and people can come anytime. If they're not in Arizona, we do
Oh,
video
cool.
tours all the time. So we're happy to get on Zoom or on FaceTime with people, walk them through. And at any given time, you can see some of our models that are here, but everything else that we're building. And so I think it gives everybody an opportunity to see really
Right.
how we build, so you can see the guts of the house, and and understand that we're really building to a residential standard. And if we tell you that your insulation is this thick, it
Hmm.
really is that thick. Those kinds of
Is that
things, yes.
something that you sort of thought of in the beginning when you created the company, or did the facility sort of come about later on?
Well, when we started with somebody else building for us in California. Then we started building in a dirt lot when we created our own designs, and we moved into 10,000 square foot facility, but we outgrew it because the homes are big, and it was became a Tetris
Yeah.
game inside the warehouse. Um, but no, we always knew we would have a facility. We're in Arizona, and
Oh,
it's
right.
118 for 3 months solid. So building outside is
I didn't think about
miserable.
that. Yeah, no, I've seen like so many things on social media when it's like at its hottest, like people like frying eggs on the roof, on the hood of their car, and just doing all sorts of like
Well,
wild
we've had
things.
we've had things like, you put some lumber outside for 2 days and just watch it twist from the heat. So we keep
Mhm.
everything inside.
What sorts of considerations do you have to sort of like think about when you're building in for an environment where it does get that hot compared to maybe somewhere where they don't have as warm of summers?
That's a great question. But we already use the right
Hmm.
grade lumber. It's, dried and all of those kinds of things. It's just when something's just sitting out in the sun and it's not nailed together, it's like, well, I can just do whatever I want. But when it's all the structure's put together, it's
Okay.
not warping. And plus you've got your siding on the outside, all everything that's protecting
Okay,
all of the
that makes
elements
sense. I wasn't
inside.
sure because I know that, depending on,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
like
great
depending on where
question.
you're building, like sometimes some builders might not build for snow or they don't build for rain, or we're not in your version of desert here in San Diego, but like, coastal desert, I
Right.
guess. It's very different.
Yeah. Well, and we can, like, if it's going up to the top of a mountain in
Hmm.
in Utah, we can put radiant floor heating in there, which gives helps your because your plumbing
Right.
is in the floor, right? So if we put radiant floor heat in, that helps with the plumbing underneath, and it helps the home stay at a consistent
Mm. No, that
temperature
makes
too.
sense. Have you sort of like run into any sort of like challenges, or like sort of like what's the biggest thing you've learned in the time that you've spent sort of running this company?
Oh, great question. The biggest thing that we're learning constantly is, well, we're always trying to improve our efficiencies and how we're building, and what else can we do that's going to make our customers' lives that much better in their home. But the biggest thing is making sure that they can have their home. So what I'm doing, and as a company, what we're doing is really working with a lot of these municipalities, because some people, some places say, oh yeah, you can have a tiny home. And then they're like, but oh yeah, it
Mm,
can't have
okay.
wheels on it. It can't have a Department of Motor Vehicle license, VIN number. And if that's the case, it's like, oh, okay. How do we how do we get around that? So we're doing everything that we can in order to, if you want our Cheyenne, whatever the municipality says, that's the sticker we're going to be able to put on that, because it's built to a code that can
Right.
do
Okay.
anything. And so, plus we're just working with the municipalities for them to understand what these types of tiny homes are. But we're not the only builder. There's a lot of great builders all
Mhm.
over the country, and I think as an industry, it's super important for us to all be helping. It's like, you know what? We're never going to be able to fill everybody's need. We're not everybody's builder. But if we can be making the difference for these municipalities to accept the homes, and people can have homes, that's really what we're striving to do, is, sell as many as we can, help as many people as we can, but lift the
Right.
industry as a
No,
whole.
I think that makes a lot of sense too because, there's so much information out there for someone that doesn't know anything about tiny houses. So the more advocacy that we
Mhm.
can see coming out of individuals or different groups really helps people, because I think it
Yep.
saves people a lot of time and also saves them a lot of money, so that they don't get like ripped off, or get like something that's not good quality.
Mhm.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who, so like it is really difficult. I know that one thing for people is like, if you just Google tiny house company, dozens and dozens and dozens of companies come up. So, it can be tough
Yeah.
for people to decide, how do I choose a builder? So, to the, people watching today that might be interested in, getting a tiny house, and they're thinking like, who do I choose from? What would you say is,
Mhm.
what makes United Tiny Homes sort of stand out? Like, why would it be beneficial for them to pick you maybe over a different company?
I think whenever you're picking your builder, a
Mhm.
couple of things. One, you need to make sure that they're listening to
Yeah.
what you're looking for, right? Because we'll have people come in and like, well, I just want a 8.5 by 17. I'm only going to put a single bed, and I only want 9 inches in my loft. And if your builder's listening, they're going to explain to you that, well, your mattress is going to take up 6 inches, and you won't be able to breathe in the
Mhm,
loft.
mhm.
So these are the reasons why we do the things that we do, and this is how we can help you, and create the home that you really want. Um, and I would call past customers, ask them if there's anyone that they can call. Look at their builds, make sure that they're
Right.
real. You know, we actually had somebody, this couple, who paid an
Oh,
online
wow.
builder, you know, $10,000 to get their
Wow.
home started, and they aren't a real
Mhm,
company, and they just
mhm.
lost their money. So when they found us, we're like, well, so we helped them out, and were able to, make some adjustments to their home to save them the 10 that they'd already given to somebody who was never going to
Mhm.
give them a home, just strung them along. So, visit them, call a phone number, make sure somebody answers it, and that they're sending you pictures that you can't just
Right.
find on the internet, you know?
Mhm. I think that's a really good point, because that is definitely happening. I think that, unfortunately, with social media, some of the downsides of social media within this industry is that there are just a lot of accounts out there, with pretty photos that say that they're companies, but they're Google images. They're not actually building something.
Yeah, they're Google images. You know, there's somebody out there who just comes to our website, takes all of our
Mm.
pictures, and then they just put them on the marketplace for sale for, you know,
Well,
nothing. And we're constantly, getting phone calls. Isn't this your house? Yes. And no, it's not $10,000. It's 100, you know?
oh man, yeah, I feel like it's just
Yeah.
a downside of the industry, kind of being somewhat new in terms of regulations, and everything's kind of different in every state and every county
Mhm.
now. But I think over time there'll be a little more, maybe like, I don't know if it's regulations, but just a little more like fine tuning, so you can sort of weed out some of those
Yeah.
companies that aren't legit. But at the end of the day, it's the internet, and so it's more, as much as people can learn as possible, yeah,
Yeah. Be careful,
yeah.
be careful. And, if you don't know, then, if they say they're in Tennessee, call
Hmm.
and see, just it's easy enough to check and see if they actually have a business registered in
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah, don't be as trusting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, because I think that, the more information that people can have out there that's been vetted, they can come and they can look at this
Mhm.
video and they can be like, okay, this is the CEO, the co-founder. Like, how often you get to hear from, someone who's, created a company, and learn from them, and just to get your advice too, and then they can hopefully check you
Sure.
out. Like, the link to your website and everything that you guys are doing will be in the in the video description here, so hopefully people will reach out to you and ask questions, and hopefully go down to Arizona, check out your facility, and find their next
Yeah.
forever tiny home. So yeah, I appreciate you chatting with me.
And we're happy to answer questions too, even if somebody's not buying a home from us and they have questions, or maybe they're on the East Coast and they don't want to pay transport for us to build it and for it to all go
Mhm.
all the way to the East Coast, but they've heard of a builder and they don't know how to vet them. I'm always happy to help. You know, give us a call. We'll let you know if they're real, if they're not, or things to look out
Yeah,
for.
no, it's good to have people in your
Yeah.
corner. It's something I really do like about this industry. Everyone is really supportive. They do want, you to, want you to help. But I think it's because
It
everyone's
is.
passionate about it too. Like, you don't really see too many
Mhm.
industries where everybody in it is actually passionate about, the product or the thing that's being put out. So, it means a lot to so many people. So I think that that's helpful too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and happy to have you on the channel.
My pleasure.
Yeah, of
Thanks for
course.
having
Happy to
me.
have you on the channel again in the future as, new things come up with you guys. But yeah, I'm excited to continue to watch what you guys are doing and hope that people reach out.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, we're launching our
Oh,
new
cool.
product
That's
this
exciting.
weekend.
All right. So
So
people need to stay
I
tuned.
know.
Check out your website, check out your Instagram.
Yep.
All right. Talk soon.
All right.
All right, so that was my conversation with Gail. I really appreciate Gail taking the time to chat with me, talk about their backstory, why they decided to create a tiny house company in a pandemic, how they've become so successful in such a short period of time. So if you're interested in learning more about United Tiny Homes, please do check out their website. The link is here in the video description. Check out their Instagram, reach out, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's really important that you get exactly what you want, and it'll help sort of like calm some of the fears that you might have going into this, no matter what stage you're at in the process. So check them out. And thank you again, Gail, for taking the time to chat with us. And then also, if you, no matter what stage you're at in the process, please do check out Mac Insurance as well too. You definitely want to make sure that you get your tiny house insured before you buy it. You want to make sure that you know exactly what you're going to get for your policy. So check out Mac Insurance. Again, their link is here in the video description as well. Their social media, and thank you again for sponsoring this video, Mac Insurance. And then if you're new to the channel, please do take the time to subscribe. We've got some great content coming up in the future, more tiny house communities, more people living in tiny houses, just talking about different topics. So don't forget to drop a comment and let me know what you want to see. I love making great content for you guys. I love hearing from you. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, don't forget to think tiny. I'll see you guys in the next one.